Welcome back everyone, Shirley here. Today we're looking at Loom'ithar on Mythic, where you might unironically want to play Arms over Fury, actually. This boss is pretty much pure single target with some light cleave here and there, and it just kind of works out for sweeping strikes for Arms. But I'm going to be jumping on the pole here, just playing a pure single target build, using all of our CDs. We opted to go ahead and Bloodlust on pole. You might consider bloodlusting for the second phase, but it just worked out fine, lusting on poles. That's what we did. Alright, first set of mechanics come in here, these infused tangles. Our tank is going to turn around and zap a couple of these, and we're going to cleave them down. This is where Arms, we can just sweeping strikes, especially the close one, and get as many executes on it as we can onto the boss again. So when you're doing that, the hitbox on these things is actually not really big, so you want to be, like max melee range on them to be able to actually cleave the boss with sweeping strikes still. But that's the idea of hitting them with sweep up, is to get as many executes and building those Juggernaut stacks. So you can actually maintain Juggernaut stacks fairly consistently on this boss, or fairly high anyway, because of all the adds and how often they die. So we're going to do the same thing here, cleave this one down. Anytime Blade Storm's up, obviously we're going to be spinning both them and the boss. Now, unfortunately, this burst that comes out here, you're probably going to lose your stacks during these portions. It's just RNG whether or not you get a proc right before you have to run out. But we're going to hit the boss as long as possible, hoping to, fish for sudden death there before we have to leap out at the last second, or as close to as we can, and playing safe, and get back on the boss here, avoiding all these big purple swirls that come in, and waiting for the tank to just do their job before we're going to worry about cleaving onto these tangles. And it helps them, get a little bit closer. Depending on your raid's DPS, you might have to run out and really focus these things, but as long as people are at least looking at them, you can let them get pretty close and allow melee to cleave both them and the boss. Is what I would recommend for uptime anyway, so we're, hitting two targets as much as possible. So as we rotate around, the other mythic mechanic is soaking these pylons around the room. Now, you can see them activate if I had spun my camera around here, but we've just got them assigned, so I'm just going to move my way over to Triangle here with my Demon Hunter friend, and we're going to take turns soaking this thing. He's got meta up, so he's basically immortal, so he can just sit there in front of it for a really long time, and I'm just waiting my turn for whenever he feels like he needs to move. I'll be in the way of it, and throwing up a Reflect for the last couple of ticks of damage there, and that mechanic's pretty handedly dealt with. Just going to cleave down these last tangles and jump out again for this burst. Heroic throw on the boss at range so we can, do something at range as a warrior, but otherwise you're just waiting. Getting back in here, spinning again, waiting for our next set of CDs, and we're at 60-ish% now. The tank mechanic going out here gets us a little close to this bomb, but we're fine. I just instantly threw parry because I didn't know if the tank mechanic was going to get out of the way in time for me or not, so I didn't want to risk it. But it didn't hit me anyway, so that worked out. Gonna get down these last two tangles. I say last because at this point we're at 57-ish% on the boss health. We're going to ignore the next set of tangles and just try to push the moth down to 50% to get into phase 2 rather than worry about that. So we got the next soak mechanic coming out here, but our tanks are coming over on this side, so after we're communicating that the tanks are going to be in the way here so they can soak this if they have to, I'm going to move out. My Demon Hunter's still sitting over there and eating as much of it as he can, but I didn't want to risk getting hit by these tank lines. So yeah, they're still hitting the tangles so people can cleave off of them for extra resource generation and whatnot, but otherwise we're just full single targeting the boss there and hitting phase 2. They splat on the ground, and you've got a couple of seconds here where the Loom'ithar doesn't really do anything, so it's just some free damage here. And the first mechanic coming out, the tank frontal soaks, we're doing melee and then ranged on these. So I'm going to go ahead and throw up a Reflect and soak that first one, and then our pushback mechanic comes out, which makes us all spread out. And the pushback is definitely the most dangerous part of this fight, I'd say. That's where all the damage is coming out, so you could save your Reflect for those and the circle spawns rather than the cone itself. It's kind of up to you. wherever your healers are putting more of their attention into this part. So we're just loosely spreading out there. If you do get clipped by a couple of them, it hurts quite a bit, so definitely, you know, pay attention to that. And the other big thing, other than soaking the big frontal here, is the ever-growing purple puddle on the ground. It's kind of deceptive where the edge of it is. Like, Blizzard's done such a good job at these hard lines on the ground this expansion, but every once in a while, some of these mechanics aren't so obvious, and I think this is one of them. You can really get caught on the edge of it, and it ticks for quite a bit of damage, so as soon as you see that getting close, you really want to back up and keep moving around the room. Next, pushback comes out here, and you really don't want to clip somebody else, but getting clipped by one of the big purple swirls on the ground at the same time is basically just going to kill you, so definitely don't do that. We got a darkness down here. I'm going to use my rallying cry as we get down to the end of the fight here in execute phase. And yeah, this is a longer execute phase since we opted to lust on pull, so arms can really, you know, shine here and climb the meter some in our execute phase. But otherwise, we're just killing the boss before it kills us, running out of room here. Burning through personals now at this point for each of these mechanics, especially these pushbacks. Using health stones, health pots. I use parry on this one as we run out of room. Just watching out for these things. And yeah, soaking this. Just a rinse repeat for the end of the fight here. Not too much to go over. Kill it before we run out of space. This last one's a little bit spicy, but our range are moving way up in the corner there, so we got plenty of room. And down goes Mythic Loom'ithar. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.